The Department of Player Safety is in the news again. Conor Geekie called on the Carper for coming off the bench to jump Josh Davies after Davies nailed Victor Hedman last night. To discuss that and the greater implications of it, here's our insider, Darren Dreger. Darren, is it safe to say that a lot of eyes are on this hearing, not just for the Geekie situation, but especially on the heels of the way George Parros handled Arbor Jackeye?
Well, to some degree, I think that's fair, Gino, although this is unrelated. I mean, this was a legal change by Conor Geekie, even though it was pretty clear that his intent to make the change was to engage in that fight, which is why George Parros and the Department of Player Safety have called this hearing. But it's also not unusual. Look, Parros and company, they're no stranger to the scrutiny that the Department of Player Safety faces on an annual basis, and particularly in the preseason, because everybody is anxious, including the fan base, certainly the players and the clubs, to get the regular season underway. But really, Gino, it all stems back to the Montreal Canadiens and specifically Arbor Jackeye. Now, you go back to last Saturday's game. Again, that was the game where Cedric Parros of the Toronto Maple Leafs collided with Patrick Laine. Now we know Laine is out for the next 2 to 3 months with a sprained knee. Arbor Jackeye tried to seek revenge for that. He pummeled Cedric Parros. He was not suspended for that. He was thrown out of the hockey game. But that really kind of got the angst going around the National Hockey League. Fast forward to Tuesday's game, Ottawa and the Montreal Canadiens. Again, Jackeye is in the middle of it with a questionable hit on Tim Stützle of the Ottawa Senators. One more time, he's ejected from the game. Now, people around the National Hockey League are going, okay, wait a minute. Why wasn't Jackeye suspended in the first place for the one-man fight on Cedric Parros? What if Parros had been injured? This story could have taken a far more severe turn if that had been the case. Now you go back to the Ottawa-Montreal game. Again, people calling for a suspension on the Jackeye hit on Tim Stützle. While some close to the Department of Player Safety, Gino, say that it was borderline a penalty. And as we can see in the video evidence, in fact, it was the Jackeye hit that hit the gloves of Tim Stützle, that hit the stick of Stützle, that did the damage. Again, a long-winded way of explaining the scrutiny that Parros and company face in the preseason, getting ready for what could be a very interesting start to the NHL regular season.
Yeah, no kidding. There's a theme here. Parros has been really busy dealing with offenses in the Atlantic Division during this preseason. The Habs play the Leafs, Bruins, and Sens in their first 3 games of the regular season. All right, let's move on. The Global Series continues. The Sabres and Devils in Prague on Friday. Great experience for the growth of the game. But could there be a negative ripple effect here, Darren?
Yeah, there could be. And it's the fact that you've got inferior rosters having to take to the ice in North America in preseason action. That's no fault of the New Jersey Devils or the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, of course, they're going to put their best on the ice in Europe, in this case in Prague, to showcase the game, to showcase their teams, to grow the game globally. That's the whole point of this series. But as our colleague Pierre Lebrun alluded to today in The Athletic, maybe the preseason in general is due for some sort of an overhaul, and that has to be negotiated through the collective bargaining agreement between the National Hockey League and the Players Association. But just to bring it in tune with the preseason, Gino, teams are already planning their preseason schedule for next year. So the National Hockey League doesn't commit their clubs to the Global Series until pre-schedule, which is normally in March or April. And the bigger market clubs around the National Hockey League don't often want to participate in the Global Series simply because they lose the gate of their home dates here in North America. So I think the preseason overall is due for lengthy conversation among NHL general managers, owners, NHL head office, and the Players Association. So to be determined on all fronts.
That is Early Trading with Darren Dreger. The full version of Insider Trading with Darren, Pierre Lebrun, and Chris Johnston is coming up later on SportsCenter.